This is Gaurav from Easy Tax Practice, and I'm host for you today for the Easy Community webinar on ChatGPT for chartered accountants. So, how come we have got this thought like about the Easy Community? Nowadays, you'd have seen like things are changing very fast. You'd have seen like Elon Musk is thinking about going to Mars, or you can think about Amazon is thinking about delivering uh, things using drone, or even to think about Uber is actually thinking about flying taxi, or Elon Musk is actually thinking about the mind chip. These all things are actually indicating what is actually going to happen in next 5 years. AI plus 5G. We all know like 5G is already there in the market, and AI is already in the market. Combination of AI and 5G is actually going to accelerate the automation very fast, and three industry which is actually going to be impacted most, that is the medical industry, the second industry is automotive industry, and the third industry which is our industry, which is the financial and accounting industry. These are the three industries which is actually going to impact a lot. So it's very important for us to keep updated and be with the requirement of the time. I have read somewhere like every 10 year, Fortune 500 companies get changed because of they were not actually able to actually focus on the innovation, or they were not able to promote the innovation. Think example about the Kodak and Nokia. So this technology has actually squeezed the border. This technology has now earlier you had a competition with your next city, next district, next state. Now you have a competition with the global players. You have a competition CPS sitting in the US. Or this is the same, like vice versa. This is actually an opportunity for you also to actually go beyond your country and target global market. In the same way, one disruption has come, which is a GPT, which is Open AI. This is actually going to change the face of the overall, practice, accounting practice. But how it is going to impact? It can be impacted with the, it can actually impact your overall, content management, your overall the way you are actually doing. It can actually reduce your time, time you're putting on VB or other things. So without wasting time, we have an expert, CA Riddhi Jain, who's actually going to help us to understand how the ChatGPT can help chartered accountant to optimize their practice. CA Riddhi, she is a FCA and company secretary. She has completed her MBA from the National Institute of Business Management, Chennai. She is a gold medalist. Her academic achievement also include securing an All India rank 4 in the cyber law examination from Government Law College, Mumbai, and she is actually certified FAFD. So without wasting time, I would like to invite Riddhi to share her thought and help us to increase our optimize our users on the ChatGPT. So Riddhi, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Gaurav, and for a wonderful introduction, and thank you, Raghu, for inviting me here. And special thanks to the Easy community. And today's topic that I'm going to talk about is artificial intelligence. And that, too, moreover, it's related to ChatGPT. It's ChatGPT for chartered accountants, wherein I'll try to cover ChatGPT along with few more things like ChatGPT that can be used by us as a chartered accountant. So I'll just share my screen in order to understand how the entire things in this industry revolves. So AI has been the most revolutionary thing by far. ChatGPT for chartered accountants. So artificial intelligence has basically been driven in the market like it is most used thing currently. In the first 2 months, when artificial intelligence launched ChatGPT, when the ChatGPT was launched by Microsoft, basically, In the first 2 months itself, 100 million users enrolled themselves, which means like 10 crore users in just 2 months, which is much higher when we compare to WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, be it Snapchat, be it your Discord or any other things. So this says that ChatGPT is one of the most talked topic of the town. If you open any of the browsers, newspapers, any of the news in online format also, one of the news will always be related to chat gpt, that how this artificial intelligence is basically used by community at large. So is it only used by chartered accountants? The point is, I have specifically taken the topic for chartered accountants, but overall this industry is impacting not only CAs but also doctors, engineers, and everybody from variety of fields. Continuing on the same, it is an open AI. This means an open artificial intelligence thing. Open AI is AI research and deployment company, wherein if if I give you an example, imagine that lakhs of libraries stored in one particular area. So that is what ChatGPT is as a AI tool. Now, when I talk about a lot of data stored at one place, so the first question that you can ask me is, then what Google is? When you Google something, you get multiple answers to your one question. But when you write something over Chat GPT, it gives you one specific answer to your question. Now, can you request Google to draft a particular note on your behalf? The answer is no. But can you request Chat GPT or other AIs to actually draft a particular report in a particular format and manner? The answer is yes. It is trained in certain ways that it can do our work the way we need it. If I say I want to write a letter as the person who is appointing someone, so it writes as the hiring manager. It writes as if CA Riddhi Jain is the hiring manager for the company. If I am the person who is the applicant to the hiring manager, it automatically changes the language and drafts things as if I am the person who is the applicant and I can respond to the hiring manager. So AI is such beautifully designed concept overall. It not only knows lakhs and millions of books, but also at the same time it drafts as per our request. So in this particular slide, what we see is it is a research assistant based thing. So this is few AI examples that I'm going to take up. One is Chat GPT, that is like talk of the town. What one is Bing.ai. When I talk about Bing.ai, it is basically developed by the Microsoft, and Bing.ai can only be opened in the Microsoft screens. When I say POE.com, I will show you a few examples how you can use POE.com. POE is as good as your Chat GPT. Bard.google.com is still under process, and currently, if you write bard.google.com, so the problem is you cannot basically enter into this particular site. It is not currently available in India. So what exactly ChatGPT is? So it's place where you can write for free. And are these all AIs free? There are few AIs that are free and there are few AIs that are chargeable. So this is research assistant based thing. So whenever I work as a CA in my office, there are so many things that I get done by my articles. When I talk about AI, so artificial intelligence is helping me as an assistant, which helps in much better manner than my own articles. So this particular article, if I say article, it's not a paid article the way we keep articles in our offices. So this particular chat GPT assists me in drafting letters, in calculating ratios, in doing many other things that I do as a CA. Even I can link it to my calendar and then appoint people and get my meetings done with the chat GPT. There are people who have actually integrated chat GPT with their mails. So when you integrate it with your mails, you can actually update your mails wherein it can correct your English. A lot of people in India, very specifically, are very cautious about the fact they say I'm a very good chartered accountant. I have a very good exposure area of practice, and my knowledge is like pretty vast when it comes to income tax, GST, and all other things. But my English is bad. I don't know, somewhere I go mistaken. My mistakes are many when I draft things. I have worked with few of the people who are actually scared of the fact that in spite of being so knowledgeable, What if my drafting goes wrong to the income tax department? What if my drafting goes wrong to the GST department and the case is in 100 crores or maybe more, or maybe from 1 crore, or whatever the amount is when it comes to the particular case. So the point is, you don't need to be worried about the same from now on, because there are things that can actually assist you. And this assistance isn't your flip of hands. The way we use WhatsApp, the way we use Instagram or Facebook, it is 24/7, 365 available to you. And the most important thing is, it is not paid. So somebody even asked me one particular day, you asked us to use Chat GPT. Is it an application? No, it's not an application, other than like you don't have to go to the Play Store or App Store and you have to bring up your Chat GPT. No. What you have to do is go to your Google, write Chat GPT, enroll yourself in the Chat GPT window. Once you enroll yourself in the Chat GPT window, automatically sometimes it might ask you that rewrite your passwords, but that is okay. When I say this is a roadmap to Chat GPT, or once you create your account and log in and go ahead, somebody also asked me a question that, will it actually take all my data or integrate my data or use my data, whatever I ask. You ask Chat GPT itself for how many days you use the data that, or you use the information that I've actually asked you. It says 30 days something. It keeps the information stored of whatever I've asked in the window. After 30 days, it deletes it. So how is ChatGPT different from Google? ChatGPT is different from Google because this is an AI thing. It is trained and taught in a certain manner. Whereas Google, it figures out from a lot of other windows that where the information is segregated and how things can come and flow. ChatGPT gives you one answer. And currently the best part about ChatGPT is, if you open Google, you will see multiple advertisements will be coming along in the right or left side of the window. While when you start using AI at the initial level, it has not provided us with many other advertisements, or as of now, there are no advertisements that are coming up with Chat GPT. This is the personal experience that how is Chat GPT used and how good it is. Now, after Chat GPT was launched, after few days only, there was something that came up was Chat GPT 4. Now, is this also accessible to everyone? The answer is yes. I'll show it in the future examples. ChatGPT 4 is also accessible to everybody. Now, what happens is, when you use ChatGPT 4, it gives you an option that you can only ask one question a day, which means normal life, when you ask a question to Google, it gives you a lot of ads in right, left, or bottom. Why those ads are there? Because it gives payment to the Google itself. Like, those are the paid promotions that are going on. That is how the income is generated in this big industry. Now, what happens is, when you ask ChatGPT a question, assume it to be a $50 question or $500 question. You ask ChatGPT normal and you get any of the answers. So when you use ChatGPT 4, make sure that you ask something that is very concrete. It's actually not only saving your time, this integration of everything in your machine is like somebody going into a library and bringing you up the same answer of the question that you have asked. Now, can this be used as a chartered accountant? Answer is yes, it can be used by us in our fields very nicely. Are people really using it? Me entering into many of the seminars, I've asked people, and yes, they're using it, and few who are not using it are getting themselves updated. Now, looking at this particular 4 pie chart, which shows that ChatGPT is there, Bing.ai is there, POE.com is there, and Google.com is there. So artificial intelligence is something wherein we shake hands with artificial intelligence and we do the specific researches. So the point is, it is a kind of collaboration that we are doing with the artificial intelligence, or something like human mind is something that has made this artificial intelligence. So in long run, if you say, then which is the most beautiful thing in the world, is a human mind, because artificial intelligence is something that is developed by the human mind. And if we go and think with artificial intelligence, we are actually going to make our tasks very easy, affordable. At the same time, the cost effectivity is like uh, nil, because currently a lot of AIs are free that we are using. So it's a collective data set which is free, where you can read, write, analyze things, and is it's not only relevant for you and me, it's also relevant for the kids. It's relevant for anybody who is actually using it, because this is not only used by the CA firms, it's also used by multi-millennial companies and a lot of other people across the world. Now, if I show you one of the examples, this is an answer given by ChatGPT, the right one. If I ask who CA Riddhi Jain is, who is CA Riddhi Jain, it says, I'm sorry, it's a language model. I don't have access to the latest information of the personal details of the individual unless they are public figures or have made significant contribution to their respective fields. So it says it has no articles in public domains or social media or news articles. So it cannot assist. Also, the point is AI is updated until September 21. The way it shows in AI, it shows that it is updated up till September 2021. So Google takes an advantage here that when we use Google and ChatGPT, if you ask who Adani is, who Ambani is, they are able to answer. But if you ask the current price of something, your AI is not able to answer the same. But there are some AIs that are updated, some AIs are not updated. At the same time, Google is like highly updated. It will give you every news second wise the way it is updated. The way we have been using Google since internet was born, or since we have used computers with internet. While if I go to Bing.ai and I type who CA Riddhi Jain is, if you can see the screen, it says choose a conversation style. It says you can be more creative, as if you are supposed to write some kind of poem or something like that. Balanced approach, the way we CAs look at things. It can also give a answer to the similar question who CA Riddhi Jain in Raipur, India is. If you type that, it will give you a balanced answer in a conversation style that who Riddhi Jain is. Then, if you want a very detailed and in-depth report, same can also be done by AI. Now, why do I need to figure and find out about somebody? The point is, we try to figure and find out about somebody. I'll give you a latest example. I was actually trying to figure out about one of my latest clients. So this guy was an American guy, and I was working with him over the in the blockchain industry. I had to do some kind of consultation to his company. So what I did was I wrote his name, that who this particular person is from US, and the place was Boston, like. So I wrote name, I specified Boston, a particular company, that who this person is. Automatically, the information that was generated, it showed me that this person has multiple charges that are legal in US against his name, which says that the person is not a good person, or is basically not a legit person. Now, I can use my AI tools in order to figure out what kind of person I'm working with. Isn't this a good thing in practice that we can take up when we get a new client, when we get a new information, to just recheck the things around that who a particular person is? Now, ChatGPT, if you open the window itself, if I'll show you opening ChatGPT. So when I open the ChatGPT window, it says this. This is actually a screenshot of the same. ChatGPT advises humans to embrace AI rather than fearing it. Now, what happens is humans are basically scared of anything that comes up new. Once when internet came in, everybody was scared of the fact, oh, will it be used? And there were so many people who actually said that this is not going to work in long run. Today, everybody is using internet for every single thing that we do in life, which actually shows the importance of the fact whenever something new comes up, there is a huge set of people who are scared of the fact that will we be able to use this particular thing, or it's going to be scrapped in the near future. Same goes when the Zoom meetings came up. When the lockdown came up, we started the Zoom meetings, and at certain point of time, a lot of virtual things came up. At the same point of time in some years, the blockchain industry came up as a revolutionizing thing. And still, there are people who say, is it like adoptable, or it is going to be thrashed out? The answer is, as you step up with everything that is generated via computers or in the technological fields or the information technology field, when you embrace the change and you don't take it as something that is very threatening to you. You're going to adapt to the situations, you're going to adapt to the environment a particular application, a particular AI, or a particular blockchain industry is giving you. The most important fact is embracing rather than fearing these kind of things that are coming up. Some of the basics are ChatGPT's OpenAI and are all large language models. So these are large language models because it has multiple books that are fed in. Now what happens is it's as good as Aladdin ka chirag, and that has a genie inside. It will just, you just have to question it out. Okay, I want this particular thing, or I want to draft a audit report as per the Indian norms, as per the US norms, and then you can figure it out that it is able to write the same. Now, large language models are basically computer programs, generated text, translate language, write different kinds of creative content, answer your questions in a very informative way. So I'll show you a few of the examples that how it answers your basic questions or day-to-day questions that we use in the practicing industry, or the way we can figure out how a particular section is. So LLMs are trained on massive data set of text codes. So behind all this industry, there are masterminds sitting who are actually training the AI model like a student is taught. It's fed with multiple amount of books, multiple amount of knowledge, not only in English, French, Japanese. There are multiple languages in which they are taught. Now what happens is, since I work uh, globally, I live in a remote place called Raipur, but I work globally. Now there are times when a French client comes up and the digits are in French or in a different language. Now, how do I actually do the task? I actually take it to the AI part, and I actually get the conversion of a particular language. So, will it type the answers in Hindi and other languages? The answer is yes. I remember the first audit that I did as an article was in Hindi, and being a Hindi speaking person, I still had no knowledge of how 1 to 10 is written in Hindi. So what I did that time was I told my boss, just write 1 to 10 in a paper for me in Hindi and English so that I can do the audit of a particular steel industry or the steel thing. So that time I did it that way. But being updated and coming on to the AI part, now it's so easy that I just feed my computers that how a particular task is done. I just ask ChatGPT that how particular word is conveyed in a different language, and it shows me the same. This data set includes books, articles, codes, and other forms of text. Now, the most important thing is yesterday I met one of my clients who is an engineer who writes codes, and he says that the coding industry has become so revolutionary after the chat GPT is released that the codes that we wrote in 4 days are basically written in like 30 minutes or say 1 hour. So this industry is enormously and drastically affecting all the people who are in the professional and the non-professional fields of the business too. So coming on to the next thing is me having tried it in Hindi and English majorly because this is how India works, the way I see, because we speak Hindi. So I've seen ChatGPT crashing after writing like few lines. Sometimes it crashes while writing Hindi, and this has been a common complaint in our friend circle. All those people who use ChatGPT. So still, I would say I'm not the master of AI, but somewhere this is everything that I have done. Like I have explored this particular ChatGPT and few other AIs in order to get an answer to certain questions when we practice in our offices or when we see in our daily lives. So it's a large number of data set. If LLM is trained on data sets of books, will it be able to generate sounds like the way it is written by a human author? It will be able to generate, sorry, will it be, it will be able to generate sounds like the way it is used in, said by a human author. LLMs are still under development, but they have been very powerful tools. Now, the thing is, in the AI industry, when I talk to my friends in the Silicon Valley part or the other parts where they work in Google or Facebook, they work with the Chat GPT part, when we talk to them, they are like, every single day there's something or the other that is new that is coming up in the AI industry, because this is by far the most widely accepted thing so far in the industry. Now, I would tell you about this is a language generation thing. What happens is when you use ChatGPT, there are people that I met in the earlier stages while I was using ChatGPT. People used to type that, hey ChatGPT, I want to like draft a letter to as an auditor in response to my client that I'll be able to accept this and as an audit engagement. So I'll tell you, there's no point in writing the same. When you use it over your phone, you can actually say as a speech format. You can just say it around and automatically it gives you answer. And there was a time I was sitting at my dentist place and there was a client who called me up to reply a letter. And I remember myself telling the chat GPT that, okay, draft me a letter in response to my client. And I just pasted the client's paragraph and I gave it to chat GPT. And immediately in like seconds, I got my answer and I was able to give it back to the client and my reply was ready at that instance of time. So you can be working somewhere or you can be very busy at the same time. You can be replying to all sorts of your professional mails as a CA. So isn't this wonderful? I would say this is one of the most phenomenal technologies that has come up by far. So now question answering. So if you question in ChatGPT of about like if I say 148 of Income Tax Act or 56 of Companies Act, will it be able to reply? I'll show you. Yeah, it's able to reply the same. It completes your text. Like if you're trying to complete a particular text, or if you're like trying to write a letter, if you're trying to draft a particular thing, it's able to do so. Language translation, as I said, it is trained in multiple language. And if you want to, yesterday I was looking at summary of a book. Like there are so many books that are launched. There are so many books that we want to read. So I just placed a book's name. I wanted the summary, and I extracted the summary of a particular book from ChatGPT. And then there are times when I pick up things from Google that I like, and then I ask ChatGPT to just summarize it. If it has like 500 words, I just want it to be summed up in like 2 lines. And 5,000 words, I would rather say. If it has like 5,000 words or 50,000 words, I just want to sum up in like 10 lines. The chat GPT is able to do it. So isn't it wonderful? You don't have to go through n number of texts. So this basically ChatGPT is something that is the most revolutionary thing by far that we as humans are saying, which are created by humans only. Now it says, how do you get your ChatGPT account? I have already shared it to you. You just have to log in like the way you log in your Facebook or Instagram, which is like the most easiest process. Even kids are able to do. So, what are the advantages? Before I actually take up the advantages, I'll actually show you something on my screen with ChatGPT along with the ChatGPT along with POE. If I use POE, POE is again something which is as good as ChatGPT. So if you just log into your POE when you first register yourself, similarly it will ask you your number, create a password, and then you can go ahead. So I asked this POE what companies Adani holds. So as soon as I wrote this particular thing, these examples are few that I wrote. So it tells me that Gautam Adani has so many other companies. Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone Limited, Adani Power Limited, Transmission Limited, Energy, Adani Gas Limited. And then at the end, it gives me something like these are some of the major companies under Adani Group's umbrella, and the conglomerate has interest in many other industries as well. So because there is a particular date where the things are cut off, so it actually shows. Now, if I write what are the share prices of the Adani company, so it is as good as we writing in Google or we wanting to just know something. So I am writing it in POE Sage. So when I wrote this, it gave me like the cutoff date of the knowledge that the Sage has is of 2021 September, and it gave me all the details of what the share prices were at that particular point of time. So isn't this wonderful? The answer is yes. Now, is ChatGPT, POE, GPT-4, are they able to actually solve those kind of problems like the current ones? The answer is no, but few are updated. So we have to figure it out by dry run method and hit and trial math method, that which is actually working the best for us. Now, when I ask, can you draft a audit report as per Indian norms for a iron and steel company? So it said that, okay, I'm an AI model. I'm not authorized to draft an audit report, but whatever knowledge it has, it drafted me an audit report that gives me the introduction, management responsibility paragraph, auditor's responsibility. It is also giving me an opinion, basis of opinion, the way we write, other reporting responsibilities, and conclusion. So then I just thought of asking that, can you give me an example of a sample audit report in an Indian way? And it's giving me audit report in Indian way, the way we do it in our offices. We get it printed in under the letterhead of auditor. It's giving me everything like we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the company. It comprises of balance sheet, PL, cash flow statements for the year ended as on date. So what you have to do is just edit few things, enter the name of companies, and add, append few things, and you're just ready to go with the thing that the AI is giving you. So it is also covering 143.10 of the Companies Act 2013. So somewhere it's a bit updated. I would not say it's completely updated as such, but yeah, you can see the drafting in the Indian manner that ChatGPT is doing. So it has drafted a good audit report. Per se, in my opinion, I would still give it good point that, yeah, it's giving good answers to the same. Now, I just initialized an example in the Sage that, let's say we have a balance sheet of the company and we want to analyze the liquidity position and the financial ratios and how the balance sheet, if the balance sheet looks like this. I just gave the details of the balance sheet. I also gave the current ratio, quick ratio, and other ratios. And on based on this financial ratio, this suggests the company has enough current assets. So it's actually giving me the furthermore details of how it is interpreting this particular balance sheet. It is worth noticing that your calculations are correct on the basis of whatever you have provided in the balance sheet. And these ratios are interpreted in this particular fashion and manner. Overall, then in the conclusion, it writes overall financial ratios can be a useful tool for analyzing companies' liquidity position, but they should be used in conjunction with other financial and non-financial information to gain a complete understanding of companies' performance and prospects. So if you take some kind of information, like if you take the real-time information, maybe from Google or maybe from wherever, if you take the real-time information of a company and you just initialize it here, that is it a uh, good way to invest, or is this company worth investing? Do you find anything that is like a gray area for the company? I think the best part is ChatGPT actually suggests you. It will give you a suggestion on the fact that how this particular balance sheet and PL looks like. So even if we are humans, there are so many things that we come across that we check as chartered accountants, but there are times when we actually skip off something very important in a balance sheet or a profit loss account or a cash flow statement. So the best part is you can just copy paste around your doubts here and you can just say it around in the chat GPT, Sage, or this is POE. You can just place your doubt there and automatically it comes up with the answer. Sometimes the answer are ambiguous too. When I say ambiguous, yeah, I've seen some ambiguous answers. So I did ask it that is POE and ChatGPT same. I'll show you. This has ChatGPT 4 also, and it has limited access the way it's written below. So it says no, these guys are not same. It's an AI language developed by OpenAI, designed for generating creative writing such as poetry, short stories, and other things, while GPT variant is designed for generating conversational responses to text-based inputs. While both the underlying technology is AI, so it's different. So I was just asking ChatGPT that which is the better one for financial conclusions. So it says both of us are not the best. So basically, I told you earlier too that these are basically are assisting us when we take the financial data and ratios here. So AI tech for financial evaluations are what are things this AI can do? It can do machine learning, natural language processing, robotic process automation, blockchain technology, deep learning of algorithms, and other things. So when I asked who Riddhi Jain is, it POE says, okay, I don't know. Bing.ai says, okay, I know. If I ask it section 148 of Income Tax Act, it's giving me 148 and limited number of lines. Now, if I repaste 148, like I'll show you this, like 148 is written in like how many lines? few lines, it writes what 148 is. Right? If I'll just ask Sage itself that can you draft me section 148 in like 5 lines or so? And I'm sure once I ask it to redraft 148 in 5 lines, it's easier for us to see that how things are working. So can you write a summary of 5 lines of section 148 or above lines? So sometimes we are in hurry, we are not looking for like reading everything around. So it's actually writing me in 5 lines that one what section 148 is. So there are times when we are actually looking for summary. So it's giving me in 5 lines that what 148 section is. So here it was this lengthy and here it is this lengthy. So sometimes when we are actually not able to interpret things, so when we are actually not able to interpret things, it's a very good way of just asking the artificial intelligence something and just getting back to the best answers. I was making one of my nieces. I was helping her around with a project of Mesopotamian civilization. So yeah, there are few searches that are even left here. For us, what is important from here is to gauge as a chartered accountant how things can work. I'll show you how GPT-4 says limited access. See, if you see GPT-4, it says GPT-4 is general knowledge bot. It has good amount of knowledge. Due to limited capacity, we have limited messages on this bot. You have 0 free messages left today. I might have asked some questions already. So otherwise, it shows at least I have one question here that I can use or that I can ask for. So it can be a writing help. When I say writing help, it says I've reached the limit. But when I say the writing help, when you draft some kind of letters to various departments or your clients, you can just take help of GPT-4. Now, since GPT-4 is the most advanced version of the Chat GPT part, so whenever you put some kind of question here, make sure that some question that is of utmost importance is presented here. Then here is Cloud A Plus that we can use. It shows up that what all it is used for. This is Chat GPT. If I just say this, what better way of analyzing financial data, balance sheet, PL, and losses, or other ways? Like how can I analyze the financial data? So it says you can see the cash flow statement. This is the best ratio analysis, trend analysis, industry comparison. So whatever questions I'll be giving, you can see it directly answers me. It directly answers me. I said ChatGPT itself, like show me a balance sheet, and then it just showed me a balance sheet. Then I said out of this particular for this particular balance sheet only, can you draw graphs too? So it says no, it cannot. Some ratios, and can you draw graphs too? So it says additional ratios are debt equity ratio. It actually calculated the debt equity ratio, interest coverage ratio, and I've checked the formulas. These formulas are like correct. So for graphs, it says, yeah, unfortunately, I cannot draw graphs. So the best part is like VCAs, ChatGPT being a AI, it also gives disclaimer that I am not able to plot the whole thing. For example, you can plot current ratio, quick ratio, debt equity ratio on line graphs by different colors. It's also suggesting you that how you can do a particular thing that you are asking for. So there are a few questions that I've asked ChatGPT, and the answers came up very nicely. So these are few of my searches. Then there is something called Dragonfly. So definition of relative under Income Tax Act. The definition of relative under Income Tax Act is any lineal ascendant or descendant of an individual, any spouses. So if I write here, or I would rather prefer writing in ChatGPT what I wrote in Dragonfly, definition of relative under the Income Tax Act. And I would just write it here, Control C, Control V, and um, I can write of India in depth way, in in-depth way. Like I want to know what a relative is completely. So let's see. So it actually takes up section 241, that is definition of relative completely. So I don't have to infer and refer all the books while I use the chat GPT. So this is the best part. And it's asking you to like tell me more. Can you give example of uh, tax benefit that applies to gifts from relatives? If I just press it around, so it's giving section 5227 of the Income Tax Act. So the best part is Chat GPT is now actually suggesting you with few more answers. Now, when I use this similar thing in my phone, it is a different thing. When I'm using it over my desktop or my laptop, it's actually giving me few more suggestions for the doubts that I have. Now, if I write, can you write a letter to hiring manager on behalf of the Jen in auditing role in XYZ and company. Okay. So it's actually writing a letter that I want to apply and what all knowledge I have. So thank you for considering Riddhi's application. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you require further information. So I'm confident that Riddhi would be valuable addition to your team. So I should, on behalf of CA Riddhi, if I wrote as you have to write as Riddhi. Now I'll just copy it around and I'll show you. Control C and I'll just copy it around. Hiring manager. Riddhi Jain. Okay. So when I write, he has to write as me. So at the end, it's actually going to enclose everything, and then probably I'm thinking it's going to write my name. Yeah, sincerely, C.A. Riddhi Jain. So it can also suggest you for tips of preparing for auditing a role interview, next steps for application process. Can you provide me more information for XYZ company and its culture? See other topic ideas. Now there's something called Niva.ai also that has come up. So if you use poe.com, very specifically, this is free when you use it. As of now, I have been using POI in my desktop only or in my laptop only. So I hold the little experience that I hold of how things are being used in the desktop or laptop is something that I've shown you. If if I take back you all to my PPT, so let's come here again and just see around what it says about the chat GPT part. So it says, yeah, ChatGPT has good amount of advantages. It has high quantity of generated text. It is very cost effective. It's that cost effective that everything that I'm doing is for free. It has large amount of vocabulary. There are times when I tell ChatGPT to write me a few replies to the department, like the drafts that I've already done. I ask it to write it in a complex English. There are times when I ask ChatGPT to solve my things in a very simple form of English when I'm trying to understand something. There are times when we are looking for something that is a fancy English, or we want quotations, or we want poems. So that is how I use it. Speed, I think you've already seen the speed. The ease, the manner in which it can be used is like awesome. The way it's easy to use, it's very flexible. The way you've seen, like on behalf of Riddhi and as Riddhi. So I think it's a very flexible way, and human mind sometimes is processing that how should I write in first person or on behalf of Rudy. Like it's so easy for the AI models to come up with the changes in the things, and so easily it is coming up with the changes. Now, this is one of the most glorious developments. There are several steps we can take to stay safe and relevant. Focus on developing skills that AI cannot replicate, like human emotions, creativity, and unique perspectives. Now, human beings are totally irreplaceable. So, AI is just an assistant. So it's not replicating the human mind. You know, God has created so many, like, we have plus 7 million, like nearly 8 million around in the world currently, if I'm not wrong, because I'm not AI, so it keeps on fluctuating. So the point is, God has created so many multiple beautiful minds on the planet. So the point is, you know, AI cannot replicate it. AI is also created by a human. The way a human being is emotional, AI is not. Now, you have to be updated with the latest technology and the trends that is coming up. You have to embrace AI and incorporate it into your or your day-to-day life. And you have to focus on niche and specialized topics, like wherever you want your specialization to be. You have to collaborate with AI tools and language models, find new ways to generate ideas, develop content, and improve your overall output. Basically, it's a time saving thing when you use AI. So this is the best part. You know, major money in life is time, and you know, if you use it wisely and nicely, nothing like it. So when you use AI, it is the best part, uh, that you use AI as your assistant or somebody who is supporting you. There are few things that we can do to ensure that they stay relevant in the age of AI. So I think not only in the age of AI, I always see myself as a learner, and every new day I have to learn new things. Same goes for everybody who's a practicing chartered accountant or working as a professional in any industries too. You have to embrace it, learn how to work with it rather than just criticizing it that it might take up my job or something like that. So you have to embrace the changes. Next is we have to focus on unique human skills. Now, there are so many skills that we can focus up and around at with AI and without AI. So we have to focus on unique human skills. One, if it is like answering the right questions to the AI, and you know, somebody who's hungry can always learn more. So we have to stay curious and find ways to apply them. The more you apply something, the more you're practiced on something. Practice makes the man perfect. So the better you use a particular technology or you practice it multiple times, even if it is AI, I'm not telling you like we are solving a question of income tax or something. So the more we use something, the more confident we are that okay, it's able to solve this kind of questions. Now, I just asked like, what relief did Nirmala Sitaraman provide for senior citizens in last Indian budget? So it says in 2021, this is a sign of ChatGPT. So it says it has information about 2021. So for senior citizens, whatever was brought up, it's actually in screen. So you know this has a cutoff limit. I'll show you before this. Thank you. I'll even show you the Bing part. How is Bing working here? Now, if I take you to my Microsoft window, and this is Microsoft Bing. Suppose I ask Microsoft Bing that what did Finance Ministry India bring in current budget? Budget for senior senior citizens, yeah. So you can just see around. It's searching, it's taking time. Like it also gave like who I am, like in the current time, according to the budget 2021. So it is also updated up till 2021. So it's telling about 2021, and then it's giving you the link of every single thing that from where all it is bringing up things. This is what it has written, and this is how it's bringing up things. So the most important thing is, now how can I, the best part is, it says what senior citizen saving scheme is, how can I apply for Mahila Samman Bachat Patra, what are the income tax slabs for the senior citizens. So the best part is, not only what you ask, what further questions you can have is also something that is generating by itself. Now, which particular AI I'm using? So this is Microsoft Bing. So when I use Bing, it shows me things this way. So when I wrote who I am, or it's also searching the other people, it's also showing. So this is as good as Google. At the same time, you can use AI as your assistant is something that I would always say. Coming on to my presentation for today, I would say I hope you liked this session, enjoyed this session. You will use AI as your assistant, and more of I look forward to you getting more updated, and at the same time me getting more updated. Growth is always mutual, and that is how we prosper in life, by sharing knowledge and gaining more knowledge, and being somebody who is a learner in day-to-day life. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
inviting me here.
Yeah.
Easy Tax
Thank
Talks.
you. Thank you so much, CA Riddhi Jain, for your informative and engaging presentation and your insights on ChatGPT and its potential applications in the field of chartered accountancy were truly enlightening us. So now we have a couple of questions from our Easy Community webinar participants. Would you like to take now? Yeah. So the this AI already taking couple of what do you call professional jobs like content writers and graphic designers. Are you see any threat for accounting firms as well?
It's not a threat. I would rather answer it that this as an ambiguous answer to it, that we can use AI as our assistant. We can cut cost of our offices, in terms of number of persons that we use in our offices and day-to-day requirements. So whenever any thing that comes up and is new, sometimes it always looks as a threat for the chartered accountants. But ChatGPT itself says that, take help of your financial person, or take help of your nearest chartered accountant, or the chartered accountant that is actually serving you for the financial assistance to you. So at the end, somewhere it writes that use help of your CAs, which itself says that it's not a threat. Somewhere it is also, AI is also telling you to take help of the financial advisors or chartered accountants, which simply implies that it is actually there to assist us and guide us. At no point of time I see that human minds is replaceable. Human mind has created it. So I think it's a beautiful creation that our mind has done. But at some point of time, if we see that, will robots really take up the world? So no, it cannot happen. There are so many things. There are times when something is drafted and the right way in which it has to be answered. It can draft you things, but you have to repoint it again that this was the most important one and this has to be taken at the second place. So I would say, yes, it is a threat too for chartered accountants, but are we going to be completely replaced by it? No. But is it going to help us, assist us? The answer is yes. So somewhere I leave it on mid grounds. Not replaceable, yes, but it will help us solve our problems, assist us. But I don't see as we as humans are replaceable, or we as professionals are replaceable. So yeah, that is the feedback from my side, because we also carry emotions. We also know how to deal with a particular thing. Over to you, Raghu.
Other question from one of our participants is saying that is it possible to use ChatGPT or any other AI tool for first time adoption accounting standards to get more efficient process?
Can you just repeat it? Like, we want to use it for the accounting standards.
Yes, to get more efficiency process.
Oh, to get more efficiency, I could say it's a trial and run thing here. So
Mhm.
you can use poe.com, you can use Bing, you can use ChatGPT, and you can just first initialize 5-6 lines in order to see that how the answers are coming and which is actually suiting you the best. So we can do it in a manner that first we just dry run it and test it, and whatever is working in best of our knowledge, belief, and the way we want things to be done. So looking at the updation too of the particular AI tool. So looking at everything, we have to decide on the same thing. So I would not give that go specifically for ChatGPT or POI or Cloud A or anything, but you can just go ahead, just use it, and then figure out that is it actually helping me and assisting me in making the things streamlined as per the accounting standards and the practices. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The next question is there any free AI tools or do we need to pay for it?
I think all these AIs that I've been showing, be it Sage, POE.com, ChatGPT, Bing.ai, everything is free as of now. The way I've been using it, everything is free. So all the AIs that I'm using is free. There are many AIs that are paid, and I'll write up more in my articles or in my LinkedIn about the same, that which are the paid AIs or which are the free AIs. But the AIs that I've shown you here are all free.
Which AI tool can we use to create a PPT?
For PPT, I was just looking at Copilot, and Copilot is one of AIs that is working on in creating this thing. PPT, like if I want to deliver or if I want to give a presentation on ChatGPT, it will automatically draft all my PPTs. But I think Copilot is again backed up by Google, if I'm not wrong, Google or Microsoft. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, once you actually go through it, it will be easier. You can check online that how Copilot is working, and recently it's still in launching phase. By far, the little knowledge that I have, it says yeah, it is in launching phase. We see life much more easier once all the AI tools are released. I think what's better if we can just write, I want to give a presentation, deliberation, or I want to give a PowerPoint presentation to a foreign client for a particular task that is to be done, and it just drafts everything, and the roadmap is there for you. And for us as PAs to be presented in various departments. So yeah, it's going to happen soon, and uh, Copilot is something that I'm looking forward to.
I think the one more question, but I think you answered again. I'm just bringing up you. In which area we can use AI drafting letter, calculating ratios, and other accounting stuff? Generalized.
So I would say as a human, we have only created it. So the more we use it, the more of uses and the more of things are coming up. Not only ratios, not only letters, drafts, like correcting our grammar, English, setting up things in line, finding out about a particular person, or you can use it in your day-to-day life as your assistant and just guiding you up, like drafting up your calendar or booking up your times for various slots of you meeting people online and taking interviews, or maybe talking to your clients, like just taking up with your syncing up with your mail and just writing the mail. So there are multiple ways in which it is being used, and I think we are evolving with time, and we are all learning in learning stage currently. I would say I'm still learning about this. So the more we use it, more we are going to come up with ideas, and more we are going to understand that how we can use AI in our day-to-day lives. And as chartered accountants, very specifically, um, in various areas, not only drafting or ratios or calculations or long text, long paragraphs to the short text and other things. So yeah, it's all still in the explore version for me and you.
Thank you, Riddhi. It was really nice session, and it was very informative. Informative. And for all the audience, if you would like to access such, tutorials or webinars, then you can join the community, Easy Community. that is completely free. You can access all. We'll keep posting, webinars there. We'll keep having free webinars for you. There'll be articles. There'll be networking session also. So this community will not be limited to India, but also out of the India. So we'll have a networking sessions. So you can actually network not just in your city, your state, but you can actually go to other state or other country also. So on the screen, there is a QR code. You can scan the QR and join the community for upcoming webinars. At the last, this is the, as I said, like Easy Tax Practice is actually a practice automation software. And these are the actually part of the software which is actually going to come. We are actually going to bring the document classification, where any client of yours is sending a document, the system would be actually identify the document and would tell you like this is a document is being sent by the client. Or if it is a, you have some client work, the system would actually suggest you these are the tasks you should actually plan for your client. Then this would also help you for the employee training. So this will actually based on the multiple data points, how much time your team member is actually spending, what is the accuracy rate, and what is the core of the team member. It will actually suggest the personalized training program for your team member. And again, it would also, I recommend you like what is best practices of the industry, which you can actually implement in your practice. That is for all for today, and thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Riddhi.
Thank you
Thanks
so
again,
much.
for all your inputs and your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you for calling me. Thank you, Raghu, for the same. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, audience. I hope you liked it. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining this call. Thank you.